Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Buyer's Remorse with Darren and Justin.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Justin.
I'm Darren.
On Buyer's Remorse, we like to find games that are sitting in each other's libraries and have been unplayed or untouched, and we force each other to play them for an hour to see if it is a wonderful buyer's confirmation or a dreaded buyer's remorse. What game did I choose for you today?
A game that I don't even know whether I had this game. It's called Mastema Out of Hell.
I love the name. I don't remember why I picked this one.
Oh, I think you're going to know why.
Tell us about Mastema. It's
developed by a guy called Oscar Celestini. It costs $5. I did not pay anything for this. It's a side-scrolling, like 2D platformer game, kind of like it'll remind you of like Ghosts and Goblins or
Altered Beast,
Ghouls and Goblins. Maybe it's like Altered Beast. Yeah, maybe Altered Beast as well. Altered Beast had like 2 levels as well, didn't it? It's not as big characters as Altered Beast. It's more a small little guy. And you've got like you can pick up a power-up that will give you a weapon that'll, kill the enemies if you're lucky enough to get it and keep it.
But is it side-scrolling where you have to keep moving?
No, the screen doesn't kind of push you forward. And also, it's not like a game like Mario, for example, where you can't go back. Like you get so far and then you can't go backwards. So you can go back.
Okay.
Visually, I mean, it's very pixel. It's almost like an old Amiga kind of game. An old Amiga style graphics, or maybe Commodore 64 kind of graphics. It looks good, very nostalgic. Enemies look good. It's got a real feel for that. It's not an old game though, so I think it's just made to look that way. The problem is that the controls suck. And the jumping is dire, absolutely dire.
So when you say that, is it the controls? Is it the mechanics? Is it the level design?
It's the jumping, and maybe a combination of jumping and level design. So it's like there's 2 problems with the jumping, and this seems to be the huge problem with this in the reviews. They're like, this is a great game, but the jumping sucks. And so what happens is, problem number 1 is, if you run flush against the wall, you should just be able to go boing and then over. That's usually how jumping physics works in any game, yeah? You can't do that in this game. You'll just jump. So you can get boxed in by enemies and you're dead. So basically, you can't.
I don't understand. Escape. So when you're jumping, you can't jump in a direction.
So if there's a wall and then there's a level above the wall where you need to get like on top of, you have to be away from the wall and jump diagonally up onto it. You cannot run up to the wall and then just jump up and press the direction to get on top of it. Even though you're quite clearly well above the wall, it won't let you just go boop across. So that's a problem. And then another problem is they've just made the gaps a bit too wide, so you have to be like right on the edge sometimes to make the jump. Often that jump is into lava if you fuck it up. Mm-hmm. Or it just means you're on this endless loop of going around, going back up the ladder, trying to get across the top, falling down, going back up the ladder. I did that. I was stuck in a loop sometimes for maybe, I don't know, it felt like 10 times just going around until I made the jump. The story is quite funny. Basically, you're in hell, and
is your character called Mastema?
I think so. I'm guessing. But basically, you're in hell and you don't know why. So your memory's been wiped, and basically, for some reason, an angel and a demon are fighting in hell. The demon kills the angel. This is all just text. You don't get to see any of this happen.
You don't even get pictures?
Yeah, you get like a picture of his face, basically. That's it. And basically, the demon kills the angel. The angel drops its like flaming sword. And so the story is you pick it up and then now you're going to like bust your way out of hell with this.
So when you are fighting, you're using this flaming sword.
Yeah, and it's very much like Ghosts and Goblins with the kind of the lance, like the javelin thing that you can throw. I don't know if you remember.
I don't really remember that one as much.
Right, because there was like knives, there was like big javelins, there was like Molotovs, there was a lot of different things you could throw.
But that's what I mean, because in this one, if you're given this sword, is that your only weapon and you level up the sword?
No, yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, maybe, it's possible. You don't start with the sword either. So it's like, you have to actually pick it up in the level. And then, if you die, you'll lose the sword. And you got to find a new place where it spawns. Which is okay if it's in the same level that you die in. You just go back and get it. But we'll get to that in a minute, man. Oh, Christ. If you lose the sword, you got nothing to fight with. So it's like you're just jumping over enemies. And the jumping sucks. And you can't like Super Mario them. You can't jump on their heads. The game does have a few kind of helpful things though. So it's not like Ghosts and Goblins where it's a one-hit kill system. Ghouls and Goblins, or Ghosts and Goblins, I think Ghouls and Goblins was this sequel. I don't know. But anyway, Ghosts and Goblins, you had armor. You lost the armor. You're in your underwear. You got hit again. You're
dead.
I
do remember, yeah.
Right, so, and you could suit up as well. You could get like armor. As soon as you got a suit of armor again, you're like, yes, I've got an extra hit. In this one, it's more like the old school kind of chickenometer one, where it's like your health is like you're a skull, and then the more you get hit, it's like the flesh kind of tears away from your skull, and then your bone at the end, and then when it gets down to bone, you're dead. Problem with that being is, you don't know how many hits you've got left, really, towards the end. But you got that, and you start off with 4 lives, so you're thinking, like, man, this is going to be a cakewalk. It's not. It's because of these really hard, tricky jumps that just like, because like you can have a full skull of health, but as soon as you fall in the lava, that's it, you're done.
Did you get a feel for your health bar then?
Kind of. I mean, it's there on the screen, but you can get hit about, it feels like you can get hit about 10 times.
All right. It feels a bit like, wasn't old school Doom that way, where you saw your face and then it would get more mangled?
Bloodied, yeah.
But you'd kind of get a feel for how mangled you were and how many hits you had left.
Right, yeah, I guess, yeah, you do have a good idea of like, I can take a few more hits. But you don't know exactly how many you can take.
I think the bigger question would be, are all hits equal?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, falling in lava, that's instant kill, but when the enemies attack you, is it pretty much always the same, or is it where you have some that hit you and suddenly half your face is gone?
If that's true, I didn't notice because, I was too busy actually checking the screen. It's not really a kind of bullet hell kind of game where there's just stuff flying at you from every angle. The boss fight that I got to was like that, but the general in-game is fairly easy to do. There's like some guys that walk on the ground. Usually they don't even shoot at you. Some guys do. Some guys take more than one hit. Most of them just take one. And so, it feels really weird because you're walking around and you're collecting gems. 100 gems gives you an extra life, which feels really kind of weird as well. It's like, why am I collecting gems in hell? Like, what's going on there? And also the weird thing is when you die, you don't get to keep any of your gems. So it's not like you're building up to get to 100 so that you can scrape back a life. It's like you have to get the 100 in one go.
Yeah, this is more the Sonic system, where you have to get enough rings in that level. When you start the next level, you start at 0.
Actually, that's probably, maybe Mario is a wrong analogy. Maybe Sonic is a better one for this. It sounds, it's like Sonic. You're running around collecting gems instead of rings. And luckily, when you get hit, you don't lose all your gems, though. But if you die, you lose all your gems. But there's 30 stages to this. In an hour, I got to level 4. No, sorry, there's 50 stages in this game. I got to level 4 in an hour.
Were they really long levels?
They're kind of staged. So it's like level 1. I think each level has 4 levels or something like that.
Is it a checkpoint system?
Nah. So it's like you go through, well, I suppose in a way, it's like, so you go through, like, let's just call it level 1-1. You go through, you get to like a portcullis. It opens up, you go in, and then you're on level 1-2. If you die in level 1-2, you stay in level 1-2. So there is a checkpoint system in that respect. But if you die anywhere in that level, you're back to the start of that level. First level was Soul Cliff, and they've got like a cool map at the beginning. Again, very Ghosts and Goblins. Like they show you the whole level of where you got to get to, and you're just looking at it going, "There's no way I'm getting to the end of this game. No way." But yeah, so Soul Cliff, the Flying Fortress, the Evil Forest, and the Prison of Madness. Cool names. To be honest, not bad levels. Weird levels. Like I think the Evil Forest is like. A lot of vegetation in hell, like very lush, like not how I imagined it.
Were they evil talking trees throwing things at you or something?
There's some evil mushrooms that you can't kill. I wanted to kill them, but it seems like you've just got to jump over them. But the interesting thing was after I finished my hour and came back, I noticed that you get an achievement for completing every level. Every single achievement I got was one of those gold achievements because less than 5% have managed to complete any of the levels.
I don't think I've ever seen a gold achievement.
You probably, if you check your achievement list, if you've done any of the levels from like maybe some of the levels from like Kentucky Route Zero that we played, if you've got any of the special ones, you'll see they're like kind of covered in like a gold foil almost. And
okay.
They're animated. Every single achievement for this game is like that because no one has, like, out of the 100% that own the game, either no one's played it or no one's even bothered finishing it.
Do you know if that plays into the overall stats? Is it based on how many people own it or how many people have tried it?
I'm not sure. I'm guessing it goes by how many people own it. I think it would be quite hard to track maybe who's played it, maybe. I'm not sure.
If so, then we are hurting the stats on so many games.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think even Soul Cliff, which is the first level, is 4.8%. 5% is the cutoff for this achievement. This kind of gold achievement. So less than 5% of people have even finished the first level, and I can totally understand why, because man, that the jumping is just awful. It's awful jumping, and yeah, it's frustrating. And the noise when you die is. Oh man, that's fucking annoying, man. It's just like, it's so. I was playing it last night and my wife's like, "Can you turn that down? Please just switch. Can you switch it? Can you wear headphones or something? This noise is so irritating."
Can you describe it?
I don't even know. It's just okay. Yeah, I can. Remember those noises from like maybe Altered Beast when you died, where it's like that. It's almost like a digitized voice.
Yeah,
it's that. But really loud and really grating. So imagine like that, but plus the person who voiced it is actually got his like mouth right up to the microphone, is just yelling into it. And they managed to capture that. That's the voice.
Like it's peaked.
Yeah. Yeah. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. There are boss fights. There's a few boss fights. The game's description kind of is like, yeah, we got 50 levels and we've got like 8 boss fights and 1 ultra frightening boss fight, and that must be like Satan at the end or something like that. I got to 1 boss and it was like in the forest. I think it was the Flying Fortress or the Evil Forest. It was the Evil Forest, and that was like a big rhinoceros in hell. And so what happens is. This one was kind of almost bullet hell, where you're locked in, you're trapped in this little area, and then like these green lightsaber things come up off the side, and you can't escape. Because I jumped in, and then he shot at me immediately as soon as I walked in, so I tried to jump out, but if you jump into those lightsabers, it's not like they're just like holding you in, you instantly die. It's like lava again, so I was like, I just made it here, and okay. And then you got to go back and you got to collect the sword again and go and fight him. I seem to hit him a lot. Oh, one thing I didn't mention is your sword only goes about 2 inches along the screen. So it doesn't even go. It's not like you can spam it and just fire off from a distance. You've got to be like almost on top of the person you're trying to kill. And so the rhino comes in and I'm hugging a wall and just like trying to launch these stupid little swords at him, which, to be fair, the animation for that is really cool. It's almost like your body kind of bursts into flames and it's like your soul comes out and then it transforms into a sword and then the sword flies across. It's pretty well done. Like I said, a lot of this game is good. It would be a lot better if they just fixed the jumping. But the rhino, I couldn't beat him. But what happened was I managed to find a power-up. And I think the power-ups are random because I used a power-up on him before and he didn't die. And even spamming the swords, I couldn't kill him. But I got a good power-up and I pressed it and it just wiped him out in one go. Like, oh, that was easy. So then I got onto the Prison of Madness. Prison of Madness is really good. It looks really good. New enemies, they looked pretty good. There's like giant enemies, like way bigger than you with swords and stuff. There's like do you remember the little dragon things that you could ride in Golden Axe? You ever play Golden Axe?
I've seen Golden Axe. I don't know if I've actually played.
There's these little like dragons with like little tails, and that's part of their move is you swing them around and they can like hit people with their tails. It looked exactly like that, or exactly how I remember it, which means probably nothing like that. But what I was going through the level and I got my sword and I got to the next checkpoint and I was like, I'm doing pretty good for this level. I can handle this. And then I got to a stage and I realized there was no swords around and I'm like, man, the beginning of the stage is really hard. It would suck to lose your weapon. Of course, I lost my weapon. And so you have to jump your way through. It's ridiculous. You're jumping over enemies that cannot be jumped over, jumping over lava, and you pretty much are guaranteed to take a hit on each enemy that you pass. I couldn't find the next sword, and so that was it. Luckily, that was the end of my hour, and so I was just like, yeah, it's like just jumping your way through, taking the hits, but I couldn't get to the next thing. But yeah, it was so funny because, I was playing that level going, yeah, man, this would be really hard if you lost your sword. Hopefully I'll make it through this level. Nah, didn't make it.
Let me ask you this. What happens when you die? Like, do you have a certain number of lives, or do you just start the level over, you have infinite lives?
You have four lives, and so what happens is, but you've got 4 lives, but you've got infinite continues. A life will start you off, let's say you make it to let's say I made it to level 4, section 3 of the Prison of Madness. Every time I lose a life, I'll start off on 4-3. But if I lose all my lives, I'll go back to 4-1.
Okay, I understand now, yeah.
So it's like, when you get the game over sign, you're allowed infinite continues, and it'll take you back to where you were, but you got to start from 1 again. So it's not, that's the thing, the game doesn't, I felt like I was making progress, and I feel like if I get good at it, I can probably smash the Prison of Madness, but I don't know if I want to do it because, well, to answer your question that I know you're going to ask me is, am I going to go back to this game? Not really, because I just don't feel I've got the time or the patience to go through it. And plus the controls are like set up for like a joystick. So it's like, imagine you've got your joystick and you got your 3 buttons. So it's like A, S, and D are jump, fire, and special. And so the controls themselves are not bad, and it's only a 2D side-scroller, so it's not too hard. Now, this is fairly simple, so the controls are okay. It's just the bloody jumping is terrible.
When you say there are 50 levels, is that 50 including 4.1, 4.2?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. The developer says 50 levels. On this actual screen itself, I only could make out about 10 or maybe 10 or 12 different areas. So what would that be? 12 times, if each one has 4, then 44 levels. Maybe there's some bonus levels or some, or maybe some levels have like, instead of just like 1.1, 2, 3, 4, maybe there's got 1.8, maybe they get longer. But no, visually the game looks decent if you like retro games, but honestly, it's just those jumps. Just make them a little bit easier.
So would you recommend this game to me?
Nah. There's better games to play that are like this, I think. But now that I've said that, I'm trying to think, like, what would they be? I don't know. There's just more fun ways to spend your time, I think. It was okay in the beginning when I was doing it, but when I got to the kind of frustrating part, it felt too hard, too quickly. And getting to that part with all the stupid jumping and falling into lava and the looping around, it just became less and less fun really quickly. You know, what I thought when I was playing this, I was like, fucking hell, Justin has managed to find another Oceans game for me to play, and this isn't even an Oceans game. That's what it felt like, you know. It felt like that. But yeah. So no, I wouldn't recommend it to you. I would recommend it to anyone who... Actually, no, I don't think I would recommend it to anyone. It's got mixed reviews on Steam. And I think it's because people try and give it a pass. They're like what they're saying, what I'm saying as well. I mean, I'm pretty much agreeing with them.
There are lots of pros.
There's lots of good things about the game, and they don't want to trash a one-man team for doing his best. But it's like, if your game is about jumping, then make the jumping good. That's not a hard thing to ask for. Like, it's a 2D platformer which hinges on the ability to jump and shoot. Shooting is not actually great either. Like, the two things that the design and all that is great. It's almost like the guy is good at designing levels and programming stuff and making things look good, but not actually about the actual physics part of it. So unfortunately, no, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, because there are better ways to spend your time. And $5, it's not cheap. $5 for this, man. It's like, I mean, I obviously got it for free. I don't know where I got this. Have you got this?
I don't think so.
It smells like an Indie Gala giveaway.
Maybe.
It's something that I don't know. I have no idea where I got this from. I could probably find out if I went through my Steam history.
Maybe you caught it on a free weekend or something.
Maybe.
What 3 tags would you give it?
I wrote down here, Jump Hell. And that's I mean, there could be Jump Hell games, like actual Jump Hell games. This is an unintentional Jump Hell game. So Jump Hell, 2D platformer, and my last one is just like missed opportunity. Because it's like all you would have to do. I mean, I'm saying all. I'm not a programmer. I don't know how hard it would be to go through every single level and move each platform or extend each platform by a centimeter on either side. Probably that's a lot of work. But it's like you pushed your product to the finish line, but you didn't polish it enough.
Would you play Mastema 2?
No. Well, yeah. If they'd solved all these problems.
If the jumping was improved and it had good reviews.
Yeah.
Would you be tempted to play the second one? I
would, actually, yeah. When you put it like that, I would give it a shot, probably for free. Again. Yeah, I think that's a fair question, and yeah, I would. I'd give it a shot. I'd definitely give it a shot.
But even if you got it for free, you did spend an hour.
Yeah.
Was that hour fun? Was it a wonderful confirmation or a dreaded buyer's remorse?
Oh man, this is a really hard one. I don't want to drag this out, but it is hard because it's like buyer's confirmorse. You know, I don't want to say it was terrible, but it wasn't good. And so...
I understand that, but that's why we have the 50-50, so you can't, because I would ride the fence every time, yeah.
Yeah. Remorse, man.